No cutesy names being used. No cutesy intros being done. This is a warning to the world. Warning to those residents in the United States who have foreign-born parents. Your time is up, unfortunately. To those tourists who are coming or planning on using the United States as their jump-off points for cruises and adventures, no, don't do it. For those who are, well, let me just say it's for everybody who's got any chance of trying to see the United States in one form or fashion. Don't do it. For those who want to go to travel abroad, don't do it. We in the United States of America are under a lockdown. Time index right now is 5:40 in the morning, West Coast time, Saturday, the 31st of May, 2025. Mark it in your calendars. We are unofficially, we should have been official, an autocratic state. We do not recognize foreign-born visas or any foreign-born people. If you are first generation, you're in trouble. If you're second generation, you're in trouble. If you're third generation, I don't know how it's going to play out. As long as you have your birth certificate and other official documents, keep them with you at all times. We are now an autocratic state. We are no longer a country to be respected. We are to be spat upon. Our human rights violations will be continuing because of Supreme Court rulings. Massive deportations are still continuing in different states. Those of you who are independent natured regarding your social media posts, if you are first generation, run and hide. The law of the land has opened up the gates of hell. We have Cerberus repeated many times hunting for you. If you are planning on cruising out of the ports, don't think about it. The current administration that had got itself into office by low voter turnout. We, as United States of America citizens, did this to ourselves and to everybody in this world. But they will never accept transparency, accountability, or responsibility, saying that they allowed it to happen. Unfortunately, even by voting against the tides that are swamping us and drowning us, I still have to take responsibility for it. Our so-called Congress people are divided, as usual. More so. We have congressional who are happy in the House of Representatives of the massive economic disasters that are befalling upon our own country and everybody else. We did this to ourselves, and we did this to the world. And I am sorry. I'm sorry doesn't cut the mustard. We are going to be in such dire situations over the next century. We have, by direct and indirect action, have allowed a country that was supposed to be a shining beacon for freedom. It also shows the pitfalls of democracy. We're not guarded. We're not paid attention to. We have allowed our own greed, selfishness, inhumane treatment, and thinking of others to affect everybody, including our future generations. This is something not to be taken or said lightly. Do I blame the current administration? Yes, but we have had that tendencies prior to that. Our own decision making regarding foreign policy and how we interfered in one way or another to maintain our own national sovereignty and security. We have allowed genocide to happen on our watch. We have allowed wars to happen on our watch. And we've helped wars continue on our watch. We did this to ourselves. We were supposed to be, but we lost that thought. There are pictures online concerning about the American bald eagle, our national treasure, hanging its head in several forms in different pictures. We should be hanging our heads in shame. We have allowed this to happen. We have allowed a monster, but personified not in just one person, but a lot of them. In one particular first term, there was a violent rally over in Charleston regarding Confederate statues. Some people got hurt. There was other rallies happening where one woman got injured, got killed. And the only thing the current administration at that time said, there was good people on both sides. I seriously doubt that now. A couple that was born or actually trying to be created of two different countries now are split apart. This isn't easy for me to say this. This is not easy for me to wake up into a country of nightmares that we, the voters in this country of the United States of America, have allowed on our watch. True, we had maggots, and I don't refer to them as maggots. They were maggots. But are they still supporting Donald Trump? Are they still supporting their own ideology where racism, subdivision, anger, blaming others, is that all worth it? As we're seeing our stock prices go crazy, food prices going out of whack, we're not quite sure if the tariffs are going to be legal or not because of our court systems are still undecided whether or not they're legal or not under an Alien Powers Act of a long time ago, affecting every aspect of our lives. What was and who was considered our allies are no longer, because they don't know how they feel about the American people, let alone our screwed up administration that we allowed in, allowing this poison to control everything. And those of us who can say it out loud that we fucked up. We allowed this on our watch, and now we're reaping it like everybody else. History will record the United States of America losing its mind, of allowing its own anger, its own misguided judgments on others to rule. We have allowed religion to be center stage. We've allowed religion to ruin people's lives by forcing only one religion to be official and going against the grain of our Constitution that for decades, for generations, we had hailed as the greatest piece of architecture that we've ever created on parchment, allowing room for growth to make our country grow. Make it great. And screw the word again. We had lived on this. We had lived on the hog of our reputation. Pride goeth before a fall, and our hubris was that high. We should be considered part of those generations, actually those empires that came before us. We should be considered one of those empires that fell hard or gradual. Next year is midterms, meaning a switch in our representation and maybe a few senators. Senators would have 6 years of life according to the Constitution, while 4 years, or actually 2 years, are allowed for the House of Representatives. So every 2 years they have to keep running and trying to keep their seats in order to serve. And Senate is bound by every 6 year. But even they are corrupted because our system of government that our forefathers had chosen was also corruptible, and they knew it. They tried to put in the checks and balances as well as they could, and for more than 2 centuries, and some change, it was working. Until we screwed up in the 2016 elections, where they got sick and tired, or the American people got sick and tired of the political rigmarole, they called it, the circus. We allowed an outsider in who knew nothing of politics or of his government, and yet he was generational born from a family of immigrants that came over from another country, had to change their name, and became a more corruptible state that we've ever seen. They lied, cheated, stolen, conned, and other people celebrated. Now we're living a lie. We're living a lie, and we didn't even realize it until the election was ended, and then the rain began. From 2016 through 2018, in that time period, 2 years of hell, or beginning of it. After the first 4-year term of the current tyrant had ended, we had 4 years of instability a bit, because the world was still reeling over our decisions. Little did they realize that the old gas bag was coming back in with a vengeance, and vengeance he had wrought, and still bring it upon everybody. Allowing religion to be Sharia law for us, and looking at the other religions with disrespect and scorn. The anger festered even worse. Immigrants who were trying to settle, trying to create a new life for themselves. For wasn't the purpose of our country a long time ago the land of immigration? We were escaping from other countries. Our ancestors were. Into a theoretical new land. And yet, by our own old ideas and ideologies, manifest destiny came out. And we conquered. Either by treaty or by blood. By musket. By lead. By bacteria. Till we got the country we have. And even with some lies and deceptions in the rules and regulations and treaties, we made our country. We tended to be the greatest thing on earth. Freedom, laws, rules, and regulations. For some. For everybody. Capitalistic society. You can make a fortune over here. Problem is, are you going to keep it? You put up the law, you put up the rules and regulation barriers, you just may, but force everybody else not to. For some who thought that only one skin color mattered the most, and one thought of ideology had to be it, the slow creep, and the forcing of wills against other people, either by physical or by society. We created our country. We still never apologized enough for the harm we've caused to other people. We split our personality in one form or another when states fought against each other. We had fought another world war and other people's issues because they were going to be affecting our national security. What kind of legacy did we actually create, and what kind of monster did we actually create that now this particular Frankenstein we created is haunting us? But the people bought the idea and drank the Kool-Aid. We were going to be the land of freedom. Rules, regulations, laws. You can still make your money here. You just don't have to stab people in the back over the damn thing. But they do, and they had. For somewhere, Aristotle kept trying to tell us one way or another that democracy is the weakest form of government because it's easily corruptible, changeable, malleable. They had city-states where they lived. And the pureborn, the purebred, or born in the state, the ones that mattered the most. Those who got adopted into it, they're second rate. They're second generation, they're second borns. They don't matter as much. They may. They're good for slaves. Unless they win their freedom one way or another. But they're still not born. That's the problem. That's the key in it. You got to be born in the States. One of the clauses put into the Constitution of the United States was birthright citizenship. If you were born on home soil or in home territory, you were considered a citizen. Well, unfortunately, throw that out in the wind because it's still being challenged and being argued and still being lambasted left and right by the current monstrous by the current administration that we voted in. They didn't want it. They want to throw out people anytime they want. If you're not buying it, if you're not drinking their Kool-Aid, you're not buying their bullshit, then you got to leave. Forcibly if necessary. Threatened by mail, threatened by emails, threatened period. Even if you're a citizen. Even if you're born with health reasons, you're threatened. Doesn't matter how old in age you are. Even a 2-year-old can be taken out of a mother's womb or actually mother's arms, tossed to someone else, made someone else's problem. We have a fine country, don't we? We're making ourselves great again. Destabilizing world prices left and right over products, over tariffs. That the one who throws out the tariffs to the rest of the world, we have to pay for it. The ones who are throwing it out. We bought the idea and the Kool-Aid and the scam that everybody was going to make us rich because we're going to be taking the taxes out of them, and therefore we're going to live it up large. And some of those diehards actually followed through and got scammed again. My generation came, signed the Declaration of Independence as a representative of Pennsylvania, and also was one of the signatures on the Constitution of the United States, also a representative of Pennsylvania. I've got one lineage who's got the family Bible, who can trace it back, and they can prove at least my involvement with the country. I've had relatives who fought and died for our supposed ideologies, what we're supposed to represent. But they didn't die of wars. They died of old age. They served, survived, scarred for life. Had families, had lineages, and they passed away, passed on their heritage and tradition to their next generations. A long time ago, I was proud of that. I could wear the emblem of my flag, of my nation's mightiest symbol, which is the flag. Red, white, and blue. A blue field with stars, where the red stripes outmatch the white stripes. This was supposed to be making me patriotic, even though when we had trouble regarding our civil rights and our rights for others. And who was going to have those rights? Who was going to be bothered with those rights? We fought ourselves time and time again whether or not who gets the rights and who doesn't. Who's allowed freedom and who's not. Who's allowed to be a citizen and who's not. Who's considered firstborn to Rome, to the Roman Empire, to the Greek Empire. People forget history. How we got here. They don't want to be bothered with it. And therefore they're buried alive with it. Yeah, I'm saddened. I'm angered. I'm scared. Is the current state and the current government sufficient with that plea, that confession, that we did this to ourselves, that we elevated these assholes into a higher positions, where some outsider comes from a different country, and he's going to do a wrecking ball to our infrastructure, just for government efficiency, because there's corruption, there's too much of corruption and this and that. People lose their jobs, people lose their lives, and with decisions that were made, more lives threatened everywhere. But this guy gets off with 130 day. with a hit in the eye, I hope. A thank you from a country that you just fucked over, asshole. He wants to go to Mars. Let him stay there and rot hell. There's no way he's going to be able to get there. Not the way he keeps blowing up his merchandise left and right. Paid for by the U.S. citizens who shelled out money for his insanity while he's doping it up left and right. Of course it's not official. But there had been people and rumors talking about it. And where you have these assholes in the administration wanting to take people's rights away because they can. Because they got to burp their butt because of immigration. Then they realize this is the land of immigrants. Or shall I say manifest destiny? Am I feeling patriotic about how this country is to me? And how I am to the country? No. But I'm not leaving it either. My ancestors, they came over. And they tried to start up lives. And I don't know if they made good or bad to it. But I know they were part of the Constitution. And I'm holding up to that one. If I don't like it, I'll give a rat's ass. But I do care what happens to the people here. And I do care what happens to freedom, liberty. Our image problem, I don't know what we can do about it. We're screwed ourselves over on that one. We are being almost just as bad as Nazi Germany. And I'll say it. We had done concentration camps in World War II. We thought about it after 9/11, 2001. But instead, we send our citizens and any visitor, foreign born or U.S. born, out of the country to other concentration camps. Just because your name doesn't ring as a true Christian or English enough. And maybe your paperwork, even though if you are an old fart, still shows that you came over here. You came over here for a better life. And now, that life is being taken away and you're angry about it. Well, good. Be angry. Be pissed off. What are you going to do? There's a lot of anger swelling in our country. There's a lot of hatred. People think we have a handle on God. I think God's wondering how he can put a handle on us. We are allowing ourselves so much inconsistencies. Our lack of caring, of being kind to others. We are destroying ourselves, according to some people who believe in biblical prophecy, that we are no longer worthy of God. We're supposed to be called another, there was another biblical name that we were supposed to be, another Zion. Well, we're already seeing the biblical Zion getting its ass torn apart left and right in the Middle East. I'm expecting the whole place to get nuked. I'm expecting to be more death and injury to everybody and everything. I don't have any positive words to say to you all. I don't have any hope to give. I am angered just like everybody else. Only I want you all to acknowledge your own damn anger. Why do you have it? not to find the blame. It's easy enough to point a finger, but realize that the rest of the fingers are pointing it at you. You're trying to deflect, but you don't accept, you don't acknowledge, and you're being clouded. You folks just don't get it. We did this to ourselves. We can't even own up to it. But even if we own up to it, we still have to find solutions. And notice there's a plural in there. I've heard that people have said that they want to impeach. You folks keep forgetting because you're too damn ignorant and you don't even demonstrate it enough. You don't even acknowledge it. There's a thing out there called a line of succession. If you get rid of one asshole, you've got the other assholes to get rid of. And it takes time to go through the process. Just who are you going to start on next? According to the line of succession, once you get rid of the president, you got the vice president. Who gets another charge of his as the vice president, as the vice president becomes the president. But even if you're doing the line of succession left and right, you get rid of the president and you get rid of the vice president. Who you got left? And according to U.S. law, we have the Speaker of the House of Representatives. And also you have the Senate leader. And then you have the executive branch to go through. Who's in that cabinet? Go research it. Go Google it. See if I'm right. You want to bitch about it? Bitch to me about it. But then again, I ain't got no power. Power usually comes from the people, and unfortunately the people have shrugged it. They wanted somebody else to lead them, so they didn't have to do it. And we did this because we're lazier than shit. We didn't do anything for our fellow man. We did this to ourselves. Feel congratulated, boys and girls. We finally had a country fallen, and it was our own. Now, what the hell are you going to do about it, United States of America? As to the rest of the world, what are you going to do, guys? What are you going to do? And that being said,